You get your hair braided for wigs or braided in box braids, and they just do it way too tight to the point where the relief only comes in about 2 weeks once you get some new growth. That should not be happening. It doesn't matter how sleek, how tight the style looks. What matters is that when you take them braids off, your scalp is not going to be affected. Your hair is not going to be affected, because having tight styles can cause thinning. If you just like wearing wigs, just say you like wearing wigs. You like wearing wigs. As long as you're taking care of it yourself and of your natural hair underneath, it's okay. You can like wearing wigs. Everybody goes through their own journey as to when they kind of get more tied to their natural hair. Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about protective styles and everything like that. But before we get started, if you are new here, make sure that you subscribe to my channel down below. And if you're an old subscriber, welcome back, my love. Make sure that you guys all click that bell notification. That way you guys can get notified each and every time that I have a new upload here on YouTube so that you don't miss it. And let's go ahead and get started right into the video. Before I get into this, I just want to kind of give you guys a little bit of backstory on me and my experience with protective styling. I have not always been the type that protective styles. When I first went natural, I liked wigs naturally. I wouldn't say I was protective styling just because I would wear wigs, because I honestly prefer to wear wigs because my natural hair was a lot and I didn't like to deal with my hair a lot back at that time. I think I was in college around that time, 2015-ish, because I graduated in 2015. So I went to college after that, and yeah, I would say around when I first started college, I was just very much into wigs. I would take care of my hair, but I had no means to wear my hair out all the time. I would wear my hair out, but it would be in puffs and stuff, but wigs were my thing. After that, I ended up, being, having the keratin treatment and being relaxed. Just kind of give you guys a little backstory. During the time that I was relaxed, which was about 2 years ago to currently, if you guys have watched my Big Chop video, I Big Chopped about almost 2 months ago. I barely did protective styles. But when I would do them, I would also take care of my hair, and I would notice a big difference whenever my hair would be tucked away and well moisturized and etc. So I do want to put out this video just because I know there's a lot of videos, a lot of people that give out a lot of misinformation about protective styles and how they will grow your hair, and that how your hair can't grow without protective styles. So I just want to put this video out there just for those who want to just learn about protective styles, but the real way protective styles work and the truth about protective styles, because your hair can definitely grow with protective styles. I'm a perfect example of that. My hair grew like crazy when I wore nothing but wigs, and I maybe wore wigs 80% of the time when I was first natural, when I first went natural and Big Chopped. But then when I was relaxed, I would wear my relaxed hair all the time. I would barely wear wigs. I would wear wigs maybe once a month if I wanted to switch it up, which barely even that. I went through phases where I would wear wigs and then I wouldn't. So honestly, with my relaxed hair journey, I got to that length, and I'm not even gonna contribute that to protective styles or to wigs or anything like that, because I barely did those styles. I would style my hair, I would be in my hair every day, and my hair still grew. So for me, I have not really needed protective styles in order to make it to where I have been. Where I get my information from, I get it from experience, because I have been through this and I have learned about protective styling and low manipulation styling, etc. And I am gonna go ahead and reveal some truths here. If you're interested in something like that, then just stay tuned. So number one, for protective styling will work for you, even low manipulation styling, but we're gonna just stick to protective styling for right now. As long as you are keeping your hair moisturized in your protective style. So that can be if you're wearing a wig, that can be if you're wearing some faux locks like I am, some locks, I just call them locks. That could be if you're wearing box braids, if you're wearing some 2-strand twists, whatever it is that you're wearing, you need to moisturize your hair and you need to oil your hair, still taking care of your hair if it's possible. That's why a lot of people don't really like sew-ins anymore. They kind of drifted from them. because with sew-ins, it's a little bit harder to get in there. I mean, you can still get in there and moisturize, but it's a little bit harder to do so. But you really want to make sure that with a protective style, you're moisturizing your hair. Like, for example, with these locks that I have in now, before I put them in a ponytail or I try to manipulate them into a half up, half down, before I do anything, I know that my hair is attached to this. So I make sure that my hair is not dry. I spritz my hair with leave-in conditioner and water and oil. And then I go in and I oil my scalp directly with my wild growth oil. Once my hair is moisturized, then I know, okay, if I do this style, it's not gonna break my hair because my hair, I just moisturized it. So you just really want to make sure, like if you have something like box braids or locks, twists, anything like that, make sure that even if you can't get to your specific hair inside the lock, obviously, make sure that you're moisturizing what's exposed in your scalp. That way when you go and manipulate your hair into different styles, make sure they're not too tight, but when you go and manipulate them into certain styles, your hair is more flexible. Because it's kind of like if my hair weren't to be in this style and I went and tried to do like a ponytail while it was super dry, it would cause breakage. So the same thing with this style, you want to make sure that your hair and your scalp is moisturized, at least whatever is exposed. If you have braids or twists, it's a little bit better because your hair is actually exposed, your ends are exposed, so you can moisturize those. But for locks like these, I have no issues with them. I just moisturize what's exposed and I oil my scalp and I'm good. That's how I'm maintaining that moisture. And that's the number one thing. That's the number one thing that I'm mentioning here is moisture. Make sure that you are not thinking, oh, my hair is in a protective style, I don't need to moisturize my hair. My hair is protected. Yeah, it's protected, but you have to maintain that moisture. Your hair needs water. It literally needs water on a daily basis. It needs some sort of moisture in it on a daily basis, especially if you are in the type 4 category. If you're in a type 3, your hair falls into this as well. You need moisture. It does not matter if you're in a protective style. It doesn't matter. Your hair needs moisture. So make sure that you guys are moisturizing. That's my number one tip. Number 2 is making sure that your braids and your protective style are not too tight. So that's your braids for your wigs, ladies. When you're getting your hair braided, make sure that it's not too tight. I know billions and a bunch of people have already said this in their videos, but I have to put this in this video even if people have said it before, because I wanted to make this video and I'm not gonna just not say something because someone else has already made the video about it. There's a lot of people who may click on this video and have never heard these tips before. So here you go, sis. Make sure that your braids are not too tight. Just because your braids are tight does not mean that your hair is going to last longer also. Because believe it or not, for example, I have done styles that my braids were loose and they still lasted me up to a month. So you want to make sure that overall, it doesn't matter how sleek, how tight the style looks. What matters is that when you take them braids off, your scalp is not going to be affected. Your hair is not going to be affected, because having tight styles can cause thinning. It can cause breakage. Your edges can break off, or they can even get pulled off. And when you're putting so much tension on your hair like that, it's not really a protective style at that point anymore, because you're doing more harm to your hair than good. Because your hair should not have to you should not have to feel the pain of something being so tight on your head. For example, when I did these like dreads, I actually didn't want them to be tight. I didn't care if they were tight. Why? Because I naturally I care more about my hair. I don't care about the style looking sleek and looking, like I like a dewy look, but I was able to get that look without it being so tight, to the point where I literally, like, that whole first week is so rough. And ladies, you know what I'm talking about. If you get your hair braided for wigs, they're braided in box braids, and they just do it way too tight to the point where the relief only comes in about 2 weeks once you get some new growth. That should not be happening. That is going to mess with your hair. Ladies, you want to make sure that when you're switching it up with your looks, with your braids, we are still protecting our hair underneath, because at the end of the day, what's underneath is what's yours. if none of this stuff existed, you would have what you're left with, which is your natural hair. So you want to make sure that you're always making the best decisions for your natural hair. Never, ever do a style that's too tight. If you can't even blink like the way I'm doing and without your scalp hurting, it is way too tight. If you can't even put it in a ponytail without it being sore, it is way too tight. Number 3 is going to be prepping the hair, which I probably should have done this one, talked about this one first so it can be in order, but you want to make sure that you're prepping your hair properly before you're going to put in some locks, some twists. If you're going to be rocking a wig for a month or so, you want to make sure that you give your hair a good wash, a very good deep condition, and a very good protein treatment. Now, I would say do the protein treatment before the deep condition, or sometimes there's actually protein treatments that have deep condition, like that have conditioning agents in them as well. You can do that also. Like I believe the hair mayo mask is one of them, but you want to make sure that you are at least washing your hair thoroughly. You can even do a hot oil treatment if you know okay, so really it just depends on how long you've been rocking the style. So if you know you've been rocking like some braids, right? You're about to take your hair out and put some braids right back in, but you've been rocking those braids for a month or two. You want to do more for your hair before you put in those braids. I know some people take them out within like 2 or 3 weeks. That's a little bit of time. So I mean, you can get away with just a wash, a deep condition. But if you know you've been rocking a protective style in your hair and you have not deep conditioned at least for a month or two, you want to take all these steps. You want to do at least a hot oil treatment or a deep condition, or you want to, do a deep condition, do a protein treatment. Take the time to do these steps for your hair, because it actually strengthens your hair. Someone who also is gonna put in the locks again as another protective style for another month or two, you definitely wanna take this step, and you wanna be even more thorough with it, because at this point, you know for a fact like that you are about to put your hair back into this protective style for another few weeks, for another month, for another 2 months. So for example, me, once I take these out, once it's time to take these out, I am going to wash my hair thoroughly. I am going to do a mini hot oil treatment. I am going to do a protein treatment. And then at the end of that, I am going to deep condition. And I know it sounds like a lot, but reason being is I'm going to put these locks right back in within a few days. So I just want to make sure that my hair is getting what it needs at least once a month, once every 2 months, whenever I take my style out. So prepping your hair in terms of deep conditioning, protein treatments, hot oil treatments is really important. Also, another thing, I recently big chopped, so I'm probably not going to cut my ends until about the first 6 months to a year, depending, because if I'm going to be wearing locks, my ends should be perfectly fine because my ends aren't even exposed. But if you're someone who wears your hair out, or you're someone who does like protective styling like with buns, or if you're someone who, you haven't big chopped, or whatever the case may be, make sure that you are clipping your ends if need be. I am not a fan of clipping my ends. I have grown my hair so long and I've only clipped my ends maybe a total of like 4 times a year. I barely clip my ends. I clip my ends literally, guys. Sometimes I would do it once every 3 months when I was relaxed. When I was natural, twice a year. And my hair grew fine. I didn't have split ends. I didn't have single strand knots. My hair was fine. So I don't get why people cut their hair more than that. But to each his own. I just want to mention, if your hair does need a trim, you want to do that trim. This is part of the prep. You want to do that trim way before you put in the protective style, because you want to ensure that your hair is like basically ready for a new fresh start. The ends are clean, you've deep conditioned. It's going to make you feel way better about that protective style. Why? Because you've taken care of your hair and now you get a break from it. So really, if you guys think about it, I mean, when you have these protective styles and you're not really styling your hair, I mean, the most you're doing is just moisturizing, oiling your scalp, and doing your baby hairs if you're someone who likes baby hair, but you're not really doing anything to your hair. So you owe it to your hair to make sure that you're prepping it properly, because at the end of the day, it's gonna be tucked away. It's gonna be not in your way. So you might as well do what you gotta do. That way your hair can also flourish in these styles, you guys. I mean, I know we all we like to wear wigs. We like to wear our box braids. We like to wear our locks. Like, this is my new favorite style that I'm probably gonna be rocking for like a very long time. At least the first year to 2 years of being natural. But really, we have to take care of our hair underneath. You know, that's what's really important. That's what will get us results. So prepping your hair is very important before you get into a protective style. A lot of people, I've seen some videos on people who have actually deep conditioned while they've had their protective style in. I mean, if I were to deep condition with this style in, I would only really be able to like kind of deep condition what's exposed, not my ends or anything. But I mean, I don't really see how people did it. I understand the gist. I don't know if I would deep condition while I have my protective style in, but for those who want to try it, I mean, go ahead. You know what I mean? Go ahead. You do what you think is going to be best for your hair. I wouldn't deep condition just because I would be too scared of like messing up the style to where I'm doing too much to it at that point, and then now the style is not going to last long enough. I feel like with just moisturizing once or twice a day for me and oiling my scalp every day, I feel like that's enough. But if you're someone who wants to go the extra mile and deep condition, do that. I mean, I'm pretty sure it will only help your hair. So do that if you're interested in doing that as well. 4 is I need you guys to give your hair breaks. I know that it's really nice being able to switch it up, you know, to have straight hair, have curly hair, have some long locks in, have some short locks in, have some braids in. It's really nice to be able to switch your look up, not have to deal with your hair. That's great and all. But the key here is also to make sure that you are loving and embracing your natural hair. I know a lot of people who wear wigs strictly because they are trying to grow their hair and they're trying to keep their hair tucked away, and their hair just flourishes off of no manipulation at all. And I feel like anybody's hair will flourish off of no manipulation. Do I feel like that's the only way to grow your hair? Absolutely not. I've proven that wrong. I've grown my hair and I have been in my hair. I've manipulated and I had relaxed hair at that. So relaxed hair is already at a certain level of damage, you know, and you already have to take care of it more. So it's like I had my relaxed hair out all the time, you guys, like all the time. And my hair grew so fast, so long, so strong and thick. You guys know, if you guys don't know, go back to my relaxed hair videos. They are still here on my channel. My hair grew and I was manipulating it. I was doing things to it. You know what I mean? I was doing hairstyles and, you know, but then also I would rock buns as well. Buns were my thing, but my hair was out. So I'm not a fan of people who say your hair can only grow if you're not doing anything to it. Yeah, it grows if you're not doing anything to it. That is a fact. But that's not the only way it can grow. You can experience your hair out and it will still grow. It just depends on your practices. It just depends on your tender love and care that you're giving to your hair. I mean, if you're just being really damaging to your hair, if you're doing damaging things that are going to hurt your hair, of course it's not going to grow. I mean, it will grow, but you won't retain that length. I meant to say that in this whole video. I mean, hair grows. Hair grows. It's a matter of whether or not you're retaining that length. So yeah, your hair will grow, but you won't see no length because it's breaking off as fast as it's growing. So we just want to make sure, you guys, that you are pretty much like enjoying your hair though. Give your hair breaks. Like, for example, I am going to be wearing these locks for, I would say, about a month. I'm going to try to stretch it to 2 months depending on what it's looking like. I might reduce some here and there if they get a little bit, you know, crazy looking, but my goal is to wear these for at least 6 weeks. But once I wear them for 6 weeks, I'm gonna take care of my hair, and I might even give my hair a little break for like about a week, let it breathe, let it do its thing, and then lock it up again. So just give your hair breaks. Let your hair kind of like be, maybe even for a day. You don't have to do it for a whole week if you're someone who just likes to put your hair away. I mean, I get it. We have busy lives. Natural hair can be a lot. It is what it is. Whatever your life, whatever your, you know, your story is, whatever your opinion on that is, that's fine. But just make sure that you're at least giving your hair just even that one day to just go out and let your hair be free. Let your hair kind of just be out and blow in the wind and, you know, just be itself. Because I am I'm very big on loving yourself and making sure that we're embracing ourselves. And regardless of the fact, like I said earlier, if we didn't have anything, if we didn't have weaves, if we didn't have yarn, if we didn't have Marley hair, we didn't have Kanekalon hair, we would only have our hair. If we didn't have relaxers, we would only have our hair. And so we have to learn to enjoy ourselves in our natural state. And so that's why I feel like it's really important between protective styling to make sure that you give yourself a little break, to make sure that you remember your hair, remember how beautiful you look without anything on your hair, and remember how beautiful your hair looks, and also just reflect on how protective styles are really helping your hair out. Because let's be honest, if you're doing protective styles right, your hair is going to flourish. I'm telling you right now, your hair is going to flourish, honey. So sometimes we need some time to reflect on that. Like when I get that growth and I'm just like, wait a minute, I gotta rock this for a few days because I got some growth. And that's just kind of giving you a pat on the back. That's just kind of giving you a pat on the back for just being consistent, moisturizing your hair, oiling your scalp, deep conditioning, doing what you got to do even in a protective style. And you're going to feel so much better when you take that protective style down, and when your hair is just out, you're going to want it to be out because you're going to be like, damn, like I did that, you know what I mean? Like I helped my hair to get to where it's at. And imagine even in a few months or even to a year how much better your hair will be. And so I feel like those little breaks are good to kind of just take advantage of reflecting on our hair and how much it's grown, and how much better it just looks each and every time that we take those braids down or that we take that protective style down, just realizing how much it's grown or how much healthier it looks, etc. So those breaks are really, really important, you guys. Make sure that you're taking mini breaks. Also, too much of one thing can be very bad, so you want to make sure that you're not like taking your hair down and then braiding it back up. I mean, there's people who do that and they have a very successful journey. They grow their hair and it's all good, but not everybody is like that. I'm the type of person where I can put my hair back up, you know, within a day after I've done my whole deep conditioning, my protein, all that, and my hair will be just fine. But there's people who their hair gets thin or their hair starts breaking because they're just doing the protective style too much. And so either way, you guys, I mean, honestly, I don't feel like that's honestly a big deal. I just feel like at least for a day, just kind of self-reflect, just be with your hair, just look at it in its natural state. If you want to braid it back up the next day, you do that. As long as you applying all the other tips that I did, you should be straight. Like, don't let nobody tell you like, oh, like you just took your braids out, you're going to re-braid it back up. As long as you did what you had to do, your hair is going to be fine. The reason that I say to make sure that you give yourself breaks is really just to self-reflect and just to let your hair be for that one day, to kind of realize like, wow, boom, this is where I've gotten. Like, this is me, this is my natural hair. I love my natural hair. To have that day where it's just you and your natural hair and you're enjoying it, you're styling it, you're going out with it. If you want to braid it back up the next day, do that. But at least enjoy your hair for that day to kind of reflect on that. But thank you guys so much for the love and for the support. If you like this video on protective styles, make sure that you share it, because I know mostly like 90% of women protective style in some sort of way, especially Black women, even Hispanic. I mean, I'm Hispanic. A lot of people think I'm Black, but I am Puerto Rican. I will probably do a video of me speaking Spanish or something, because actually I have a video of me like speaking Spanish in the video, because I kind of shook some of y'all. But anyway, I am Hispanic, but I mean, I still protective style. I still like protective styling. Like, I don't feel like it's a race kind of thing. So, I mean, if you're someone who protective styles and you know like your friend protective styles and she be getting them tight braids, and make sure that you share this video. That way she's able to get in on the tips, she's able to get in, and we all gonna have long hair. We all gonna have flourishing hair if we follow these tips. If you're someone who likes protective styling, it's okay. Don't let people talk crap about if you like protective styling. Or shoot, let's even go as far as like, if you just like wearing wigs, like, I mean, just say you like wearing wigs. You like wearing wigs. As long as you're taking care of it yourself and of your natural hair underneath, it's okay. You can like wearing wigs. I mean, everybody goes through their own journey as to when they kind of get more tied to their natural hair, and it's okay. It is what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and judge people who just wear wigs all the time, or wear locks all the time, like fox locks obviously, or wear like braids all the time. Like, it is what it is. I mean, if you're trying to get your hair out of a certain state, if it's stagnant at its growth, or you're trying to grow it out of a TWA like I am, then it is what it is. We do what we got to do, but we also take care of our hair, and that's what's most important. So make sure that you guys stay tuned to my channel because I got a whole lot more coming up for you guys, just beauty, hair videos, everything. I love y'all. Make sure that you subscribe down below. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, loves.